Hello, everyone. Welcome to Show Up with Cherise B in the Diamond Lounge. And the Diamond Lounge today is in Dr. Torre's amazing home. I'm so excited. And this is where we host captivating, conscious conversations with intentional vibes, okay, and impeccable style. Look at this lady. Right?
My stylist.
Amazing. Don't we love it? Yes.
Thank
So, you know, I love it because we bounce back and forth. She styles herself as well. I just hold we hold each other accountable. But at the end of the show, I have something so amazing. She's gonna be surprised.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay, cool. I'm excited.
That has something to do with the style part that we haven't had a chance to do yet. But this is my amazing client and friend, Dr. Torre Prothro-Wiley. I said it right, didn't I? I love it. We're just having a very transparent conversation. What is that in the background, please? I wanted to have a very transparent conversation. Hey, listen, we're keeping it real today. This is my first official show on YouTube, and you know what? I want you to be transparent. I want you to show up anyway. I want you to come from hiding. I want you to just do it, okay? I am recovering from perfectionism and imposter syndrome. That will be part of our conversation today, along with mastering your emotions, your money, and your men, okay? And I think imposter syndrome and perfection it plays such a role in that space. And I can't wait to hear your thoughts and opinions and professional opinions on that. In emotions, money, and men. I'm super excited about that. I specifically, like that conversation came to me. We did an event back in November. And so many things came up in that event. It was excellent. And so many women had so many breakthroughs at that event. Dr. Torre sold out of her cars. Do you have your cars today?
I do.
Your decks?
I do,
Okay,
I
good.
do.
We'll get a chance to talk about those as well. But there was such a response that I really wanted her to be the first person that I interviewed because of the interaction that we had at that event. Like, we made impact, and that's really important to me. I'm not here just to be cute, just to be popular.
Although you are.
Thank you so much. I am really, truly here to make impact with my people. And this lady here, she changes lives every single day by just being who she is and showing up, doing her work. She knows exactly who she is and what she's here for. And I love that. So I'm going to read her amazing bio, okay? Dr. Torre is a native of Atlanta, Georgia. How many people you know who are natives now, right? We have so many implants. She is a therapist, life coach for individuals, couples, groups, and executive level communications. She assists clients using CBT, ACT therapies, and mindful techniques. Her clients range from individuals, couples struggling with daily life management problems, mood disorders, interpersonal skills, relational challenges, and financial therapy. Oh, I can't wait to talk about that. Her educational background consists of a bachelor's degree in sociology from Georgia State University, a master's degree of psychology from Argosy University, and a PhD from Capella University in behavioral psychology. She is a published author and a professional speaker. Dr. Torre has 17 years in experience in public health research and counseling, as well as managing her own private practice here in Atlanta in the metro area. Over the past 10 years, she has served as a public health facilitator for various grants working with Emory University University of Chicago, and University of Rhode Island. Dr. Torre's passion is helping others and has recently created her first therapeutic tool, Mindfully Me, a card game to educate and inform individuals regarding mental health issues such as mood disorders, interpersonal skills, and relational competencies. Her objective is to educate, empower, and assist her clients during their mental health journey. I believe anyone can achieve anything once they are equipped with the right tools to assist their dreams. Torre Prothro-Wiley, PhD, LPC. Yes! Isn't she amazing?
Oh, thank you.
And you know what? That absolutely does not say enough. I cannot wait to open this conversation up. Wait until you hear this lady speak. I honestly think that you have a voice that transcends over the masses and changes lives. I know. I just have the most amazing friends. And I want them to know and I want them to feel it, you know? So I have a few questions that I want to start with her. These are very strategic and intentional questions that I have just for her. Okay. In our conversation today, we are talking about mastering your emotions, your money, and your men, which I think Dr. Torre has done.
Oh, wow.
Amazingly. And why do I know that? Because I've been with her. You know, we've been friends. She's been a client for quite a while. We became friends and family. And, you know, I refer a lot of clients to her. All the clients aren't quite qualified, but I do refer. And, you know, she refers, if she can't take them, she refers them out, you know. But I trust her. I believe in her. And this is why we're having this conversation today, okay? I'm super excited. So, Dr. Torre, let's get started. Let's get into this captivating conversation.
Absolutely.
All right. I want to ask you, first of all, what in your heart and soul made you go into this space? What is it about this space in therapy that made you say, that's my space?
Ooh. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And the introduction just blew my mind. And you know, I think the very, very best of you.
I love you.
To death. Love you to death.
Thank you.
It's interesting because I say this a lot. I have been a therapist my whole life.
Yeah.
Right? Ever since I was a small child, people have found a way to get to me to tell me their stuff, right? Yeah. And even though my journey didn't go straight through school into this field, every industry I've worked in, whether it was waiting tables, doing hair, consulting, I was counseling or helping people understand themselves better, right? Or just being a person that they could say what they need to say, you know, get it out. So I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, you were born for this.
Right? And I really do believe that.
Yeah. I wish that for every human that I know. You know, I feel like I was born to do what I do. You know, even though it started in the hair industry and I was there for many years, I still am in that space. It's just I'm evolving and transitioning. You know, I know you're a lover of transition.
Yes.
My friends used to talk really bad about me, but you're always talking about transition. And I'm like, transition is important because we're always transitioning,
It's the only thing constant in our life.
I love that.
That's it.
And I knew that for sure. I just could not articulate it at the time, you know, because when I was in high school, I took psychology and I was like, oh, I think that's the space I want to be in. And I took 2 years of psychology in college, and that just wasn't my space of learning. You know, I was in there styling people, making sure everyone was looking good. So that's how I ended up in cosmetology school. But I knew I loved people. I love the study of people, like how the human being moves and thinks, you know, like how do they evolve? I love that. You know, so that's why when I met you, I think we just had such a connection because of your background. First of all, your heart. And then your background in the beauty industry. You know, you told me that, I was like, I knew it was something about you. I knew it. And then your entrepreneurial spirit, you know, all of that. That was just a huge connection for us. Just, you know, instant. And I've really enjoyed it. And that is why I love talking with you. You know, it's almost like a therapy session, but a girlfriend session every time we talk, right? Every time we meet up, you know, I'll come do her hair, you know, or either she's at the salon and we just have like these amazing therapeutic conversations. And for me, those are the only conversations I want.
I love my philosophical conversations. I absolutely love it. And I love connecting. I think that's another reason I was born to do this, because my ability to just feel a person, connect. I love that. And I'm very protective of that gift too.
Yeah, and you should be. You should be. I think that's the place that we are all evolving into now, understanding that, no, these are gifts. These are gifts that your soul was given from God that you need to nurture and operate in.
And protect.
This is, and absolutely protect, because this is yours. This was just for you. And there's a way for you to use it in an authentic way in this earth. Only you, you know? So I want to dive into emotions, okay? And I want to talk specifically about how a lot of people, especially women, let their emotions keep them from so much success. I'm talking about brilliant women. I'm talking about successful women, you know, women who have so many accolades, you know, so much success. I want to talk about how women like that even, you know, can let emotions sabotage, you know, their business, their relationships. You know, let's talk about that.
I will even take it a step further. You know, you were saying women. I think women and men.
Women and men.
Dealing with my practice, I see both be very internalized and afraid to admit the stuff that's down in here. And I do agree with you that we're in a time and a place where people are starting to accept and embrace vulnerability. But we've been modeled to be afraid. Right? When you talk about emotions, especially as people of color, we've been taught to hide. We've been taught you can't let everybody know what's going on. We've been taught, you know, you live one way at home, you live another way in the street, you know? So we get all of this messaging and modeling about how we're supposed to show up. And that's very confusing. And I think we have mastered compartmentalization. Like, we as people of color know, I'm this person at home, I'm this person in the office, I'm this person with my boys, this person with my girls, I'm this person with my man. It's like we have learned to just dissect ourselves into these little segments. And how can you be authentic if you're completely broken up?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so our emotions play heavily into that because we're allowing the emotion to lead us rather than we lead the emotion, right? And that is definitely part of my work. Part of my work is to help people understand, like, one of the first things I talk about when I'm working with a client is, what are the emotions you experience the most? Because all of us have something a little different. And so when you're talking about imposter syndrome, or you're talking about sabotage, that's that person that has been modeled and taught to think negatively about themselves and their world. Right? And so we'll look and glean, and we'll watch people and want to aspire to be that way, but that private voice, that internal voice will tell you, hey, you can't do that. You're not special enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not thin enough. You're not tall enough. You're not smart enough. Whatever it is, that thing, and it will keep us from really stepping into our purpose and into our light.
I agree. I see it and I hear it and experience it every single day. That's how I was able to identify it in myself. And, you know, I also talked a little bit earlier about how, you know, you will find yourself in your own work healing yourself as you help other people, you know, and I challenge so many educated people, so many experienced people, so many people with all these accolades and, you know, these amazing friends, you know, to challenge yourself and ask yourself, is this me? You know, as I am helping others, is this me? Because that's absolutely how I figured out. Because so many people, oh, Cherise, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. But then I would figure it out.
Yeah.
And then guess what? They think you know everything.
Yeah.
They think you're qualified and equipped, but you
took
are.
A chance. Because you took a chance.
Because you took a chance. Yeah. I'm just that type of person. I'm solution oriented. I'm going to figure it out. Or the tribe. I will call the tribe and we'll figure it out. But I think that people are afraid of that vulnerable space. I think that people are afraid to be transparent about what they've really been through and what they're really dealing with. So prideful, just embarrassment and shame. And I think that is what is holding our culture back.
Yeah, I agree.
The entire collective. And what we have to remember and realize, if you don't know this, what I need you to know today is we are a collective. So what you're going through, I'm going through. And what he's going through and she's going through, I'm going through. So we all need to come together as a collective and get through this thing, you know?
One of the things I heard that I totally agree with and I believe to be true as a therapist and as a professional, you know, when we talk about traumas, people think that you perfect or get over a trauma by avoiding it. But you have to confront it and you have to go through it. And I think that that's a word that's overused too. I think that there are certain things that we go through that are not traumatizing, but I think now in our society, anything that kind of slows us down or makes us intimidated or feel inferior, oh, it's trauma. And that's a bit excessive too. But I do feel, I agree with vulnerability. You cannot connect fully with anything. I don't care if it's a job. I don't care if it's a person. I don't care if it's a pet, unless some of that vulnerability is experienced and exchanged, right? It's what makes us human, right?
I agree.
It's what makes us human. And so I feel like, you know, when you talk about mastering your emotions, you got to first look at like, why do I feel what I feel? We don't even want to do the investigation enough. We just want to hide it, avoid it, push it away, not feel it. And I tell my clients a lot of times, sit in it. Just sit in it. You don't have to sit in it all day. It's going to wash over you, right? It's not going to, you know, it's not permanent. But I think a lot of us are afraid, like, this is going to take me out or this is uncomfortable. Some people just don't even like the way it physically feels. So it's so uncomfortable to feel this emotion that I got to get moving. I got to do something to get this feeling off of me. But you were created to feel.
You were created to feel. Oh my goodness. You know me. I'm all about the feeling. Because when I realize, like, oh, if I don't feel this thing, if I don't feel the good, the bad, the ugly, I'm not going to get over it. I'm not going to get through it. I'm going to continue to mask it. And that is one of the reasons why I feel connected to you. I felt like you were a person who understood feeling. And, you know, I know plenty of therapists. We've all seen many therapists on TV and, you know, wherever. But I feel like people aren't real. I feel like people are not connecting. And I feel like people are afraid. I think that we are riddled with so much fear.
Oh, yes.
That we just can't live.
Yes.
And live, you know, for some people is literally even just breathe. It's people that, when you talk about anxiety, people can't breathe out here. You know, so if you can't breathe, you can't live. You know, so that's something that I noticed at the event. I literally noticed this. When you began to speak, I watched the room. I'm a watcher and I'm a listener. And I watched the room. In the language that you spoke, I saw those ladies begin to breathe. They said, because they felt someone who was connected with them. And then they could hear you, and then you opened up the gates, and then they could hear other women who had the same stuff. You know, like we literally are one. And you know, it's funny too, a lot of people, they used to say, are you a motivational speaker or a stylist? Are you you know, because I used to always, I'm all the things. I'm multifaceted.
Yes.
And I had to accept that. You know, but I knew for me, it was deeper from day one. When I went to college and knew that that wasn't my space in my lane, and I went to cosmetology school, and it was easy breezy for me, and I started to get behind that chair, and so many people were, you know, they just gravitated to me. And I learned that, oh, it's the energy.
Yes.
They like my energy. They love the fact that I listen to them and I care for them. You know, so that changed my life.
Absolutely.
When I realized they connected. But what I had to realize, Dr. Torre, was, okay, so therapy isn't my lane, you know, the professional therapy. I'm not doing all that. All that education she went through, I'm not doing all that. But thank God I have you. But what I realized was, most importantly, what you said was connecting. You know, the connecting is everything. And then I have Dr. Torre that I can say, hey, you know what? There's nothing else that I can do for you, but I know where you need to be. This is why the collective has to be tight. You know, the tribe has to be tight so that we can look after each other. You know? So now, tell me more about the connection with the men and the emotions. So I feel like the space that we're in now, women, and I will speak to women 35, 40 and older, okay, who've been through some things. Right? Why do you feel like so many women are single?
Oh, that's so loaded.
I know it's loaded. Help me bring it in, because I'm speaking from, you know, maybe it's and you can bring it in where you need.
Well, let's get some context. Are we talking about women who don't want to be single but are?
Women who don't want to be
women
single,
who don't want to be single and are
but are so emotional. Because I meet so many women who are so emotional, who want it so bad.
So let me go back. Let me circle back to what you said about when you were behind the chair and people were drawn to you and your energy.
Okay.
Most of the time, my female clients that are single that want to be married, they don't own their space in their light. Right? They are on social media modeling and mimicking somebody else. They're listening to other women who are single and don't know a damn thing about being married, being in a relationship.
Okay.
So when you start, first and foremost, introducing yourself to someone and wanting to entertain this person, how can you fully entertain someone when you have not fully entertained yourself?
Ooh, Dr. Torre.
Ooh. And ladies, before y'all get in your feelings, I used to be that woman. I was that woman at one point.
Yeah.
Okay, I was. My first marriage, I did not love myself the way I loved my first husband.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But to take it even deeper, I was in love with the storybook romance of what it was supposed to be. Right. And I loved love, but I wasn't really mature and healthy and functional to be a married woman or to just be even in committed relationship. I didn't know enough about myself, right? And so, you know, I'm not saying that you have to completely know every nook and cranny of yourself, but I am saying you need to know what you stand for. You need to know what's okay and what's not okay. You need to know what you like and you don't like. And you need to be comfortable inside your essence and your light. And most women aren't. because they're looking at social media. They're looking at what their sister did, their girlfriends did, their mama did. They're not looking at, who am I?
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so I have a client, and she shared with me that she married herself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we got to talking about it initially in the beginning stages of our work together, the thing that I loved so much about it was she was like, I worked hard to get to a place where I felt like I was ready to be married to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we're always wanting to give ourselves away.
Yeah.
But did you give yourself to yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so, like, no one, like, down to the point of, if you're a person, talking about myself, that loves sleep, can you marry a person that snores? I mean, that deep, chronic, like, can you do that? And I'm going to tell y'all this too. So, got married the first time, and the snoring was like, I never got comfortable with it.
Okay.
Like, a lot of women told me later on, oh, you'll get used to it. My husband snores too.
Okay.
I was married 11 years. I never did.
Never got used to it.
But I believe that was an indicator that I never fully felt safe or trusted or wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Right?
Oof.
Now, current husband, I was dating him, he snores. He snores now. And I sleep straight through it.
I know that's right.
Because I'm safe.
Yeah.
I'm safe.
That's
I know me.
Yeah.
I believe I know him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I believe in my heart and soul. And I can be in his presence. I'm going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good. That's
right?
good.
But we a lot of times don't take the inventory for something that intrinsically us, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's good, Dr. Torre.
Yeah, I'm serious. So I think we struggle greatly with full understanding what turns us on and turn. I have so many female clients from a sexual perspective. They never get satisfied. And they sit there just letting him think, making him think that they are.
Yeah.
Telling people that they're, putting up the front. And they are not enjoying their sex life.
Okay. Oh my goodness. This is an amazing segue into this phenomenal question. This is for the women. I'm going to ask it for you all. So, and I think this is a part of the mastering the men, mastering self, emotions, and then mastering men. So if you're with a man who's not satisfying you sexually, right? It's almost like you're deceiving yourself if you're allowing him, if you're not letting him know that he's not satisfying you, and then you're doing him a disservice if you are not letting him know, like, hey, I feel like you lack in this area, but I feel like there's some work there that we can do and some help that you can get, to make that better. You feel like that's fair?
Absolutely. But also this goes back to what I was speaking of with a lot of these women have not taken the time to even pleasure themselves fully, to understand their own anatomy.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can I teach you how to take care of me when I don't take care of me? Right?
Yeah.
How do I teach you how to explore me when I am embarrassed, uncertain, afraid to fully explore myself, right?
Yes.
And so, and don't get me wrong, I do feel like a lot of old school mothers have taught their daughters, you don't tell a man if he can't perform, right? But you're giving him a false sense of performance.
Yeah.
You're giving him also a false sense of your ability to connect fully with him, right?
That's good.
And it doesn't even have to be penetration. Like, I've got clients who have issues with actual full intercourse, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, well, teach him other ways to please you, right?
Yeah.
And talk to him about being open to that exploration together. So there's so many things that happen in committed relationships where we drop the ball because, oh, if I open that up, he might reject me. Or if I open that up, he may not respond the way I need him to. Or if I open that up, I may find out that he really can't do this, right?
Yeah.
But even if he can't to the level that you need him to, the exploring will cause you to be closer.
Ooh, I am not sure, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if you connected with this. This is deep. This is real. Like, listen, Did you hear what she said about the deeper connection?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you're honest and
Yes.
you're truthful.
Yes.
It will breed a deeper connection. And I think that we're programmed different. You said it. If you say it, oh, you're gonna run him away.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not gonna do anything. He's gonna reject me.
Right.
No. I heard you say a deeper connection, and that is what I connected with. Yes. I hear you.
And there's a way to say and do things.
Yeah,
like, and
course.
if you don't know how to do that, you have to figure that part out. But I do think it's imperative that you sit down and you tell your mate, like, I cringe to see women in their early 30s and they married to somebody and they got forever in front of them.
Yeah.
And they're suffering because I don't want to tell him that he's not good at this, or he's, or I want this and we've never tried this, those type of things.
Yeah. I want to go back to women self-pleasuring. What personality type is that, if I'm asking this question right? Let me know or correct it, whatever you feel. What personality type is that a woman who is afraid or is embarrassed or who doesn't pleasure herself? Who is that woman?
Well, it could be a myriad of things. I mean, it could be a woman that's timid. It could be a woman that is so religious and spiritual that she's been modeled and taught that.
Yeah.
It could be a woman that's been molested.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
It can be a woman who feels like if I touch myself or if I explore myself, then that means that I am not heterosexual, that I'm this or that. So there's a lot of the stigmatisms around that. But how can you fully own yourself? I told both of my daughters, like, if I taught you how to eat, and I taught you how to dress, and I taught you how to read and to write, as a mother, I'm not doing my due diligence if I don't teach you these are things that you need to know about your body. These are things that you need. Because if, again, a woman that doesn't know those things is a woman also that's going to follow a man's lead, possibly to have unsafe sex, possibly to have sex that she don't want to have, and on and on and on.
Yeah.
So if you are in control of your sexual persona, you have complete control over how you educate, communicate. Sex is a form of communication.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And so that woman that is refraining from doing that is living in a place of fear based on titles, stigmatism, and poor modeling.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. I feel like a lot of women are suffering from not knowing who they are, not exploring themselves. I hear it all the time. There are some gifts that I have. I have the gift of helping people activate their unknown gifts, right? And because I can see the gifts in them, I can hear it in their conversations. I can hear the gifts that they want to explore or want to, dive deeper in, but they're afraid, for many reasons. And I know that that's their freedom. And I think so many women aren't exploring themselves. I'll just speak for myself, on surface. When I discovered me, that's where my freedom came from.
Amen.
When I discovered, like, oh, you know what? You don't have to do that if you don't want to. You don't have to do it this way. You don't have to do it that way. But if I know how I want it, and that's anything. I'm not just saying sex.
Right.
But sex as well. If I know me and what I want, I think it would behoove a woman to take that position and guide. If you want to be, if you want to guide, that would be the time to guide.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
They talk about us being alpha females.
Yes. Yeah.
And alpha women. I think if any time you want to guide, that would be the time. If you have explored your body, if you have explored your mind, your spirit, your soul, you know you better than anyone. You know, and then who knows where you could take him.
Exactly. And my thing is, if you don't understand the ebbs and flows of yourself and how to truly love yourself, how do you know if a man is tender to you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How do you know the difference between passion and tenderness and aggressiveness and, you know, the need to control? Like, you don't have a gauge of that because you don't understand that within yourself, right?
Right.
So if this man is aggressing you or telling you he wants it this way and you have no sexual experience or prowess with yourself, you're going to go along with it because you're thinking, well, this is what it's supposed to be like, or he has more experience than me. And no.
Yeah, and create unnecessary trauma.
Yes.
You know, in many ways, I feel like, because, you know, here you are over here exploring something that you never wanted to touch. And then you wonder where some resentment came from because you didn't know who you were.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
I love that. So, gosh, there's so much we could talk about, Dr. Torre. Now, let's talk about, you know, when it comes to your emotions and when it comes to your men, and mastering that, like, do you feel like a lot of women are in the way of their success and their money because they have not mastered themselves and their emotions and their men?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like, you know, we are creatures that are prone to sacrifice. And we are creatures that are prone to be submissive, right? And so in that whole dance, we will talk ourselves out of things because, oh, well, he won't like this, so maybe I can't do that. Again, you know, going back to my own personal experience, there were certain things that I wanted to do professionally. I knew I couldn't do in my first marriage. He wasn't going to feel comfortable with it.
Okay.
He wasn't going to be comfortable with it. He was not going to feel okay with some of the things that was going to entail, right? And so I was submissive. You know, I drew back. And so, you know, after the divorce, and now I'm completely empowering myself, taking care of 2 kids, working, going to get my doctorate, doing all these things. I started to get to know and understand my power. And in that, I started to understand my standards have to change in a mate. They have to. There's certain things I have to have in a mate in order for me to develop and become the professional. And I didn't even see to the extent of where I am now. All I saw back then was I wanted to be in private practice. You know, I wanted to practice therapy. I knew at some point I wanted to, you know, write a book or do public speaking, but I still didn't know the vision I have now far exceeds the vision I had then. But I did know what my partner needed to look like for that journey. Right? That couldn't have happened had I stayed married to my first husband. That wouldn't have happened.
Was there like an aha moment?
Absolutely.
Tell us about it.
Whew, there were a couple.
A few. I'm sure there were. I'm sure.
There were a couple, but I'll say this. So I went back to school. My kids were little, and we were trying to figure out, we were struggling financially. We were trying to figure out the direction we were going to go in. His business was doing okay, not great at the time. And I had started working in other people's smaller practices, right? And got a phone call about 10 o'clock at night for a prospective client who was male.
Okay.
And my ex-husband was like,
oh no.
He was not comfortable.
Oh.
And I told him, I said, look, do you want me to work or don't you?
Right.
But I realized, and that was a small realization or aha moment, I was like, there's no way I'm going to fully process and experience what I had put myself through school to do.
Yes.
If I'm not allowed to do these things.
Can I say something?
Sure, absolutely.
Really quick? That I put myself through school for, and then you could have, and you decided to put yourself first and not sacrifice that for a relationship that was not in alignment.
Yes. with my calling.
With your
It wasn't
calling.
alignment with my calling, but also, to be very transparent, I did not want my daughters to see me minimize myself anymore. I wasn't going to do it. I knew, A, I had a calling on my life, and B, I knew I want life big.
Right. I want life big.
I want life big. And I did not want my daughters, because I had worked with a woman when I was in the food industry, and I was a server and a bartender. Yes. I worked with a woman, and she was very similar to me. She was married. She had a couple of kids, and her husband was pretty insecure and uncertain of her. Yeah. And it got to the point where her daughters kind of started to look at her and kind of almost mimic, like, well, you know how he is. Why are you getting upset? Mm-hmm. You know, as they matured. Yeah. My kids weren't going to ever tell me that. My children were never going to get to that age where they were now young women themselves, and they look at me and go, it's unfortunate, mamas, well, you know how daddy is. And that wasn't going to happen. Yeah, I needed them to see an appropriate love story. Yeah. I needed them to see the appropriate journey between an empowered woman and an empowered man, right? I wanted them to have that model very badly. Yes. And so I was like, this is, so that was another like aha moment for me too. Like, what am I showing my babies?
Yes. Yeah, and you created what you wanted for them. Yeah. So I have a question about your husband. What was it about him that made you know that he was built for you and your girls?
So one of the things I say about him all the time was he's not perfect, but he's willing. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when I talk to female clients a lot of times, and they're talking about the big car and the big bank account, it's got to be this, that, and the third. And I'm like, let me tell you something. My daddy told me this when I was a young woman. A man can have all the money in the world, don't mean he's going to give you any. Right. So money's great. Yeah. I'm not negating that. Yeah. But there was nothing that I suggested or told my husband we were dating that I wanted. Yeah. That he wasn't willing to try to get it. And that was the most alluring thing to me. And he also was humbled by his relationship with God. Now he is not this man that just walks around and talks God. That's not him. Yeah. But he had the humility and the ability to say, there's certain things I can do and there's certain things I can't do because I'm a man of God, right? Yeah. And that was enough for me because of my spiritual convictions, and because I needed somebody that I knew he's going to always be in my corner. Yeah. Like I could come home tomorrow and be like, James, I want to do da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he'll be like, all right. And then he'll come back 2 weeks later and be like, let's do such and such and so. I was thinking about this, or I went out and I made this transaction so that I could support you to do this. Yeah. He has supported me through every walk of my career.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. I do believe remembering you telling me a story about, how he took ownership of your girls as well. Yeah. You and your girls with ease and flow.
With ease. Just came in and just immediately. I tell any woman, like when you're dating and you are a single mom, you have to be so careful of the men you bring around your babies. Yeah. How they connect, don't connect, how they model themselves to your children, because that could be destructive. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That could be such a bad combination. But no, he came in and again didn't try to take over. Yeah. Didn't try to, lord over. He has his say and he says things sometimes that's different than what I would say. Yeah. But he always had enough respect for me to say, okay, she wants to raise her children this way. Yeah. And he would dial back. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so he's a good guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that in that space, I think that you showed up in a space of respect and ownership.
Accountability.
And accountability. Yeah, absolutely. And then so did he. And also just the desire to create, like, this looks like a space that we can create what we want.
We can build.
We can build from here.
That's the other thing too. Like this generation now wants the man stir the family. Give me this man. Let me add some water. Let me add some grits and stir it up and boom.
Yeah.
No, marriage is about development.
Yeah.
It's about we start here, but we have a vision and we aspire to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of these women are like, no, he's got to do like all of these posts I've seen where the man takes them on the first date and they like, oh, that wasn't good enough for me.
Yeah.
How do you even know what this man is about? You ain't even had a conversation.
Yeah, true.
You didn't even get to know his heart.
Yeah.
You're sitting in front of him, and then the conversation is, oh, I shouldn't have standards. Mm-hmm. Well, what are your standards?
Right.
So your standards is he has to take me to a $200 meal for him to equate something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so he takes you to a $200 meal, and then you get home. He knock you upside the damn wall.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Or he gets you home and y'all get to bed at night, he turned his back to you.
Yeah.
He's cold, he's indifferent, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what is your standard?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I will have to agree with some of the young men that I've heard, like, who do you think you are? Yeah. Expecting a $200 meal on the first date. Now, if that's who he is, my thing is just expectations of getting to know a person. Yeah. I don't expect that. There are no expectations but respect. You know, like, let's get to know each other.
And I have to say this, and if I step on toes, I'm sorry. If you're going to get deterred because he can't or won't do a $200 meal, baby girl, you can buy that yourself. And if you can't, you need to reassess the situation. Yeah. Because my thought is always equal to, greater than. I tell my kids all the time, if a man ain't adding, he's subtracting. He damn sure need to be multiplying, but you need to be bringing something to the table.
Yeah.
So if you don't have anything going for yourself, then of course you're going to cling to whatever he can give you. Yeah. But that also means that you are relying on him to always give to you. Yeah. No, I ain't giving to myself. Yeah. And I'm sorry. The way we were raised, brother pay a $200 meal. You like, oh Lord, what he gonna want? Like, you know, exactly. Like, what is he gonna be expecting after this? And it's like, I don't even. I'm trying to get to know where your head is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your heart, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, okay, another question. What about? I noticed you counsel a lot of couples. Yeah. Okay. What age range?
Oh my God! So my practice is basically from individuals, even couples, about 19 years old up to about 65.
Oh wow! Mm-hmm. Oh wow! So you see a wide range of.
Like I've actually, and I never forget one time I had a couple I was counseling. They were in their 70s, and I felt like, oh my God, I'm not there yet. Yeah. But it went well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because you know what you're doing. You got this thing. When it comes to relationship and communicating and connection, I think that's what's necessary, you know, and I think a lot of people may have missed the mark, you know, as couples. You know, for instance, they were old school. They didn't have the resources that we have right now, you know. Yeah. So just imagine what you can bring to them, you know, the information that they may have thought was, oh, that's too much. We're not telling people our business. Right. But it's just communication. Yes. You know, within a home, you know, between a couple, you know, that you need to connect more. Yeah. You know, I love that. I'm so excited. I'm extremely excited that we had this conversation. It felt so natural. Yeah. We could go on forever, I think. Yeah. One thing that I wanted to talk to you about was, you know, us having a collaboration, a future collaboration.
Absolutely.
Yeah, continuously. We can talk about what that looks like. Yeah. I definitely would love the opportunity to see you oversee my collective and my tribe. They love you. Mm-hmm. Those women that bought those cards at the event, they're still talking about it.
Oh, wow.
They're still asking me. Somebody told me I was being selfish because I had not brought you into the community yet to speak. And I was like, wait, y'all not ready. Just hold on one second. I'm I know when to bring her back. Just hold tight.
Yeah.
I was like, I have something I have to do, which was this.
Mm-hmm.
And, we can talk further about what that looks like.
Absolutely.
But, I definitely, you're going to be a part of my life forever. Mm. But definitely, I want my community connected to you.
I love to do it.
They need what you have. And I want them to, be exposed to it. So we'll talk more about that. I also wanted to offer to you something special. I was going to talk to Jordan about it, but we were handling business behind the scenes earlier.
So y'all doing stuff behind my back.
Yeah,
okay.
we didn't get there. But I wanted to offer you a special offer from me personally to facilitate your next brand shoot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. That is from me to you because you're just everything to me.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And
that is awesome.
Yeah. And I want to, make sure that we do all the documenting behind the scenes and everything. I know you're open to that.
Absolutely.
And we'll put a plan to it and we'll get it done ASAP.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So thank you
y'all
so much.
Looking for that.
Yes. Definitely be looking for that.
Her skills are unmatched.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And I'm excited because, the opportunity to finally come from behind the chair, to do more mentoring, more coaching, to build this collective I've been working on forever, and to get past the imposter syndrome, to get past the perfectionism, and finally show up for myself. I was even afraid, I want to really be transparent. I was concerned about naming my show, Show Up with Cherise B. Who am I to name my show, Show Up with Cherise B?
You're not.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I know. But I want people to understand those are some of the same feelings that you may be having in question of yourself and who you are and what you do out here. I don't want you to question yourself. I want you to show up fully. I want you to stop hiding. I want you to spread your wings, okay? You are qualified. You were born qualified, okay? You were born ready. You have everything that you need. It's time for you to show up.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Torre. I love you.
Love you back. Oh.
We still behind the scenes on Facebook. It's okay. Cool. Listen.